Well. Welcome to CAPECAST. What's going on, Alan?
What up, dude? How
Welcome
you?
back to the land of the living,
Thank you.
so to
Thank you.
speak. Are you
Yeah.
are you are you feeling? I talked to you yesterday. How are you feeling in comparison?
Oh man, it's like I don't know. I'd say a good 50% better than what I was yesterday. Yesterday was pretty rough stuff. So,
Yeah,
getting there.
nice. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I am glad to hear it, as they say in Spider-Man 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, when she's in the key play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan should hopefully be joining us momentarily. He was having something about a baby crying. I don't know. So,
Diana.
yeah, causing havoc
I'm
once
assu-
again.
I'm assuming it's Diana, not Ryan just being a baby.
I hope that's the case. Yeah, but hopefully he gets that under control soon and can join us. Um, cool. Well, let me wait. Where did oh, I'm all out of sorts. Somehow some things got minimized in our control center, and I was like, where are things? Okay, here it is. Anyway, if you're just for the first time listening to us here at CapeCast, per usual, we have a few different little plugs we're going to do, but for the most part, CapeCast you can find on Twitter as far as where we're going to be most active at CapeCast Show. Pretty much all our stuff you can find at CiNEMACHiNEPod.com. You can find links to Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, and we also are on Patreon now. So if you do feel so inclined to throw us some dollars, we would gladly accept them. But yeah, how's your week been, Alan? Besides being sick, seems like you've had some time to do some watching of
Yeah.
different things. We'll get to that later, I guess. But
Uh,
um,
it's been good. The old COVID bugs run its way through our house.
your
Every one
entire
of us
house,
ended up with it. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's the first. It came through before, and a couple of us were able to dodge it, but no
yeah,
such luck this time. But everybody else in the house you never know that they even had it. And I'm over here, knocking on death's door for a few days. So, but seem to be
well, you're
doing the,
just a weak specimen.
yeah,
So
that's what it is. That's what it
yeah.
is.
Well, I'm glad that it didn't take too bad of a toll on the rest of your fam, and good to
Yeah.
see you. You sound better than you did yesterday when I talked to you, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually no breathing treatments at all today. So
Yeah,
that's a plus. I'm doing good. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about you,
Well,
man?
I'm good. Um, not really much new in Brandon's world. Just kind of same old, same old. Crying about the DC content and that again, nothing new. Still
Yeah.
the same, same thing. But speaking of DC, let's kind of jump in. We didn't have a show last week, and then I guess the week before we had we did a regular show the week before, but we have had some news kind of build
Mhm.
up. So there's a few of these things will be kind of old news at this point, but still stuff that we kind of wanted to touch upon. I think we'll see. Um, but yeah, speaking of DC, a few things regarding the Batman.
Mhm.
Uh, One, it's rated PG-13. We kind of assumed that. I didn't think they would go for R. Kind of felt like it was going to be one of those things where they kind of pushed the envelope as far as they could with a PG-13,
Yeah.
judging by the trailers. So yeah, PG-13. I think for strong violence, disturbing content, drug content, language, and some suggestive material. Um, and then another thing that came out is that it's about 3 hours long. So I think it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes, if I recall. And then the other, I guess, bit of news regarding that was that they also at one point tested a 4 hour cut. And, you've, when you, if you judge things by Twitter, you had a lot of the extremes of, oh man, a 3 hour movie. How will we ever survive watching a 3-hour movie? Same thing when people kind of freaked out. Well, most recently when it comes to DC with Zack Snyder's Justice League being 4 hours, and even before that with like Endgame, people were like, "How can we even watch a 3-hour movie in the theater?" Like, and it's funny how people kind of get into different like camps with that when they'll sit down and binge a show all day, 8 hours, but for some reason a 3-hour theatrical run time is crazy. I understand the like business side of it being like not common because they can't fit as many screenings in the theater per day. We know how that goes when it comes to Justice League, trying to capitalize on runtime for just to milk the money out of it, which didn't really help them at all.
I think that's really helped most of their newer movies as far as creative freedom wise. Anyway, most of the newer DC movies have been longer run times, and they've let them do it because they see where it bit them in the ass on that one. So
for sure. What's up, Tony and Nani, both in the house? I missed your comments. I'm not used to doing this. Ryan is usually doing this. Alan, I keep saying that I'm going to give you the keys to this, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But it's coming. Just remind me.
It's okay. I'm not worthy yet, but we're working on it.
No, it's okay. You're more than worthy. You're the mainstay, bro. You can just have the show. But I guess anything regarding the rating, the runtime, the fact that they did test a 4-hour cut, any kind of things worth noting on your end with that?
I don't know. I'm not one. I know that like you and Ryan, sometimes you guys will stay away from the trailers and things closer to D-Day on release dates, but I watch every little snippet that I can get my hands on, and this movie just keeps looking better and better. It really does. I'm still not a fan of the suit, but the movie itself, man, it keeps looking better and better.
Yeah. So speaking of, they did put out a few clips, I think, of this movie. Now, I didn't watch them because, like you were saying, I kind of try to avoid some of that stuff if possible. I know that's like counterintuitive when you're doing a show on YouTube about geek culture and movies in general. It's like people want to hear you talk about them. At this point, we're so close. I'm like, I know Ryan watched it, so maybe if he gets on, he can talk about it. But I think there was a funeral scene that they released as far as is that the case?
It was that was it's kind of like the bridge scene from Spider-Man. There's a few of the trailers have shown footage of this funeral scene. We didn't know it was a funeral scene until here recently, but it gave a little insight into a few things. It was neat. It's nothing really was given away specifically other than I think at one point you find out that Bruce is one of the targets, I think, at one point, but that's
Gotcha.
That's really it. And then the detective lens thing, I don't know if you got that in there or not, but
I did see. No, I don't have it on the list, but I did see some people posting. I know Ryan. I'll speak for Ryan since he's not here at the time. Ryan was like, oh, of course he's got high tech lenses, but he can't put together a suit that looks decent. So
he spent all his money on the lenses. We don't know how much those cost.
Yeah. Speaking of the suit, Robert Pattinson admitted that the suit looks like a Halloween costume until the lighting is just right. And I chose this image intentionally because I remember when this stuff was getting shot, it was like, are they shooting The Tick? I don't know what's going like. What is this? We give this movie a hard time about this suit. And honestly, you can't really fault. You can't give them too much of a hard time because they're coming off of one of the best Batman suits that's been put on film. So they had a lot. They had a lot cut out for them in terms of delivering. But I just think I think I mean, again, we've talked about this before, and so not to beat a dead horse again, but it's such a hodgepodge of different things. I get the idea of, we're going to take inspiration from this version of Batman, this version of Batman, we're going to put it all together, but it screams identity crisis to me, unfortunately.
I mean, for me, it's got, how when it was announced that Leto was going to play the Joker and Suicide Squad and David Ayer Suicide Squad, everybody knew he wasn't going to look anything like Heath Ledger. You couldn't be anything close to that, because it would draw too many comparisons. So they went kind of, complete opposite of what Ledger's Joker looked like. I really feel like that may be something similar to what they were trying to do with this. Like, they couldn't get close to Affleck's suit because it would have just been a nonstop comparison of the suit, so they just said screw it and went the other direction.
Yeah, and I mean, like I've said before, I hope that there's a story element to why it's kind of hodgepodge put together. It's this is supposedly like a year 2 Batman, so
that's what I was thinking.
It's one of those things that it's hard to look at. I'm sorry, it's not my favorite by any means. It's down there with the nipple suits from the Schumacher.
There are aspects of the suit that I don't mind. I mean, I kind of like the symbol, that's really cool.
If I just squint really hard and just look at the chest piece, I'm okay with it. But I don't like the hockey pads. I don't like the cowl. I don't like the little like collar thing.
Yeah.
I don't like the pins on the gauntlets, the little bit pins. So. But again, this is not new. And again, I don't want to be negative Nancy about this movie because I think the movie looks amazing.
I do too.
I just wish the suit was better.
Like I said, every trailer that's popped up, it's just drawn me in more and more. I'm very excited about the movie, and I think Pattinson's going to do great. I think all of the cast is amazing. I think it's going to be a good movie all the way around. I think it'll be a great movie.
Yeah.
He'll get a trilogy out of it, and it'll be awesome. So.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
It's got all the pieces to be awesome anyway, almost all the pieces.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. It does have everything else, in my opinion. I mean, the only thing that would make it better is that if it was Affleck playing Batman in this movie. That's the only thing. And that is kind of the double-edged sword with this movie, is because in the back of my head when I'm watching this, I'm just like, man, this is good, but we could have had Batman and Deathstroke. And
I know.
We
were, we'll talk about it later, but I was watching the Snyder trilogy, I guess we're calling it at this point. And Mandy actually asked about Deathstroke. She was like, so what happens to Joe? What happens to that character? And I was like, well,
it's a good question, Mandy.
I don't know.
We're all wondering the same thing. Yeah. It's a bitter pill to swallow, and we're never gonna have closure with that, unfortunately. No. I don't think. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Anyway, speaking of suits, Alan, we haven't talked about this yet on the show. Batgirl, they released a first look. Leslie Grace released a first look of her suit a week or so, 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit old, but yeah, I mean, they've been filming a lot outside, and typical protocol for these movies that are going to be filming in public areas, they try to release some sort of official photo before, leaked images pop up.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first, Alan.
Okay. So
another controversial topic amongst the people on the internet in terms of, obviously there is inspiration from the classic Batgirl suit. I think a lot of people's hangups, including mine, is the material is not the most flattering material or the most interesting looking material. So it's got that going against it. The carbon fiber cowl, I'm here nor there with. I'm like, depending on how it's, because this is also, this is not an in-camera like what we'll see in the movie. This is a photo still, so it's still could look differently in terms of
Yeah,
finished
and
product.
we've seen multiple reports that this is not the only suit that you'll see in that
Yeah.
movie as well. That this is kind of her year one suit as well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you can look at some of I could go down the street to Planet Comics and pull covers that are going to look exactly like her suit, identical.
Mhm.
I mean, with everything from the belt to the whole color of the suit. And I see what they did, and I respect that. It's personally not my favorite suit that I've seen in the comic book. So if they were going to pick a suit for me, it would not have been this suit. You know what I mean? I'm still not. I'm not dogging on the movie, and like I've spoken very highly of Brendan Fraser. And hey,
Wow,
Ryan,
look at him.
Howdy.
This is weird. Seeing you guys are gonna have to switch this.
What's this angle? What's this angle you're shooting from?
Are you on the?
I was
toilet?
inside, and then the baby's crying, but I can't be inside anymore. So now I came outside. And I don't have my camera set up, so that angle.
I see. Is that the Chris door behind you, or is it?
Yeah, it is the Chris door. It is. Yeah, he could come through at any moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, you just in time, Ryan. We're talking about Batgirl.
Missed so much.
No. I tried to speak.
Well, I tried to check in. Yeah. I'm gonna bowl.
Yeah, probably for the best. I tried to speak for you with a few of the other Pattinson topics that we hit upon, costume wise, and
so I missed the only stuff that I can be positive about. Huh? That's good.
Well, you could give us some general thoughts.
What were you guys? Were you just talking about the clip?
Well, I was just, we were talking about the suit and how I get. I mean, they went comic accurate. I mean, it is for one of the suits that Batgirl wore. That they made it look like it was ripped from the pages. It just happens to be the suit that I don't like at all, and I wish they would have went in a different direction. But
some things just don't translate to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this is one of them.
Well, and I wonder if this iteration of this suit has something to do with the Keaton element in terms of that. That aesthetic approach from his Batman, kind of tailoring the way her look, because I've seen mock-ups of like what a Snyderverse Batgirl suit would look like, which is very in line with.
Looks great.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah, I got to be careful about drinking water tonight. I don't want to get choked up again. But yeah, so that's I'll pull. This suit looks like a Halloween costume that my daughter has. Like literally, it's in her closet. Like she dressed up as Batgirl one year, and this suit is pretty much even that cape. Like I know what that fabric of that cape was like.
I know it's got the just two pieces of fabric you can just pull apart like each direction because they're only sewn at the edges.
Right.
I mean, okay, so if we're talking about suits that she's making on her own because she doesn't have, Bruce Wayne's money, this is what I would expect somebody to make. I mean, when you see Toby and Andrew make their suits and they come out with these badass looking suits, I'm like, how the hell do you do that in your garage? You know what I mean? Like, now this is something I can see you making in your garage.
But
me and Mandy make this suit.
Spidey's a little different than Batman for me, like the Bat world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm assuming she's starting out without Bruce's help. I'm assuming that Bruce will find out that she's doing this. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not totally sure. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen.
Alan,
and then
we don't
he helps
know
her.
What's happening? Period. With anything.
But Brendan Fraser's in it, so I'm still really hoping it's going to be good just because he's in it, and I want him to succeed at everything that he does in life.
Yeah,
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
So. I just wanted to be good for him. That's really it. I care less about anybody else in that movie.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we move on from that, Ryan, did you want to hit on any of the Pattinson, 3-hour cut, 4-hour cut tested? Even Pattinson thinking
rile me up, Brandon.
Pattinson doesn't think the costume looks good unless it's lit correctly. Any of those?
Oh, I'd go a step further and say the costume doesn't look good at all. But
I know you would.
No, so yeah, I mean, we texted about the 4-hour cut thing. It's so annoying. It's just so annoying.
Well, we didn't actually talk about that, but yeah, it is. Listen, good for Matt Reeves to get all the creative pull. He and James Gunn seem to be given the keys to do whatever they want to with DC. Matt Reeves, I can see. Me personally, James Gunn, I don't see, but I know a lot of people enjoy his stuff, so that's fine. Yeah, from I guess our perspective, just being like, we just want some. Give us a little bit too, just a little bit. Given all the other people,
anything, just a
little morsel.
Maybe not, or maybe not Commissioner Gordon with J.K. Simmons and Batgirl, where Ben Affleck is not Batman.
Because that's
it's also convoluted. That's the thing that I can't stand. Like, if you're gonna like reboot everything, do it. Just recast everything. Just start over, make a new world, new aesthetic, whatever. That's fine. Yeah. At this point, do your thing. But I can't, like, you can't ask me to invest in this half in, half out, well, 3/4 out, 1/4 in approach to characters that I saw in a world that was freaking awesome, and they just rip it to shreds and try to capitalize on the equity they built with the actors.
Right.
Like, doesn't interest me at all. Like, not at all.
Yeah. I agree. It's like it's more
annoying. I want to be excited for DC projects. It just makes me annoyed every time I see a project that's announced with one of these actors now.
I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, well,
that's how I feel. That's how I feel, guys.
I think we're all on the same page.
I believe so.
And oh man, Ryan, see, this is what happens when you are not manning the chat. We've got people popping up. Bob, hello.
I figured
Bob.
you guys already did that, but yeah, we got some.
I hit a few of them, but I guess Bob is asking if there'll be any hint of Lucius Fox. I'm assuming this was maybe.
Was this in reference to the Batman, or was this?
Okay. Yeah. So, possibly. I mean, I haven't heard of any like casting rumors or anything like that. Nothing.
Because if Lucius Fox designed the suit that he's wearing, he needs to be fired.
Yeah, and then Tony thinks that they need to make that 4-hour cut available. I mean, I agree. I'll watch anything
the Reeves cut
that that they put out, as long as
you mean to tell me that you'd watch a 4-hour movie, Brandon?
I would. I have many times.
Yes, I know. It was sarcasm.
I don't think I ever asked you guys when you guys sat down and watched the Snyder Cut the first time when you stayed up when it premiered. Did you guys pause for bathroom breaks, or did you watch it all the way through?
Yeah, I don't think
actually no. We did pause one time the first time.
Maybe I think we 6 part 4 maybe
in the morning. Had to take a quick little bathroom break, but yeah.
I'm saying I've sat through a lot, and I have
sat
through it,
me.
One time.
Surprised me if we didn't, though, because we were just at that point we were so numb to everything going on around us besides the movie. And we both could have just like peed our pants sitting there and not realized until the credits rolled.
Yep.
Yes, I'm back, Nani.
You got that. All right, you got it. I'm leaving it to you now.
It's
in your hands.
There you go. Release the Reeves cut.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'd totally be down to watch that if it's what Reeves wants to put out. If it's, I mean, who knows what shape that cut would have been in. More than likely was more of a assembly cut kind of deal, but who knows? Who knows? I guess we'll find out later when the campaigns start for it. Find out what shape it's in.
Yeah.
So, all right. I mean, this next piece of news is not really anything necessarily noteworthy, but it was interesting. Jeremy Irons had said that he hadn't seen the Snyder cut yet, but
his
he
quote
was like,
amazing.
yeah, could be worse than the theatrical, which very true.
But the way I gotta find the article, the way he like posed it back as a question to the interviewer or something. Yeah, I'll find it.
Oh, I've got it right here. I think I have it, and I haven't seen it. I shall have to hunt it down and see if I have it somewhere online or on a DVD. I remember talking to Zach before he did it and being very interested to see what he came up with. It couldn't have been worse. So
I gotta find that.
That's awesome.
You can keep going. I'm just gonna try to find that thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I agree, and which I don't know. We've had a lot of, I guess I don't know. This last couple of weeks has been a blur, but there was a lot. Obviously, we had the drama with the weed and stuff, and Ray Fisher and all that stuff.
He said, very interested to see what he came up with. It couldn't have been worse. And then, so when reminded that some of the viewers found the film, quote, dreadful, he replied, "Well, so did I."
Yeah. Yeah. So say we all, Jeremy.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I guess here's the segue into that. How much do we want to speak on the whole Whedon, Ray Fisher saga that continues to
the crazy weird article that came out
I don't
Joss
know.
Whedon.
I just
love always like I'm sure there's all kinds of reviews and whatnot on that. Like
yeah.
He reads the thing, he tells his publicist, "This is perfect, send it, publish it."
Like, I mean, it's almost as bad as them looking at Henry Cavill's mouth in the 2017 Justice League and saying, "Ooh, this is going to be awesome." You know,
Nailed it.
He's consistent. I'll give him that.
Because that was when I saw that article, I was like, how could he have ever thought that this was a good idea to put this out? I mean, it's just, I mean, other than that, no, I don't have much to say.
The writer of that article had to have been so excited when that got approved.
It's like, oh yeah.
That's the thing, though. Okay. You have to imagine that they went into this like I think it was a girl. She was probably like just curious to see what he had to say and how he was gonna maybe try and see how he was gonna like own up to this stuff, and then it just turned into this thing where it was just like, well, this is better than what we could have hoped for in terms of just him burying himself instead of just doing.
She probably walked out of the house and she was just like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. It is a very it is a strange.
I mean,
go ahead, Alan.
It just like one of his statements in there was something along the lines of he cut Ray's scenes because his acting was terrible, but this is after we've all seen the movie and we all saw how good his acting was in that movie. I mean,
I don't think anybody would watch Justice League. Even any of the reviews you read has watched it and been like, Ray Fisher just drags down the film.
I mean, it's nonstop, heart and soul of the movie, and then he's like, his acting was terrible, like, come on, dude.
That's true. I mean, I wonder if he lives in a world where he doesn't know that the cut actually came out. So he's not even
like,
aware
that
we know
happened?
better.
I'm sure in the article he did kind of look like he'd been living on like some sort of, I don't know, like deserted estate for the last however long.
He has so many Twitter filters set up for the Justice League and the Snyder Cut. He has no idea. He hasn't seen anything online of any kind about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it was just such a bonkers move on his part to think that it was going to make things any better at all to do that in the first place. I can't imagine the logic behind agreeing to do it, especially like, I mean, maybe it's just proof of how, narcissistic of a person he is in terms of thinking that,
I would say yes. Good Lord.
Yeah. That's got to be what it is. I mean, and like I said about Lucius Fox getting fired, if his publicist read that and said, yeah, you know what, run with it, then he needs to be fired too, or she needs to be fired too.
I mean, here's the thing. There's all kinds of he said, she said with this production, but like, and as a general rule of thumb in life, where there's smoke, there's fire. Something wasn't right. So, this article seems to be further proof of it.
And I mean, and it just stirred the pot, and not just, and it wasn't just Ray that came out. I mean,
exactly.
Gal Gadot, she said that she would advise, she was never going to work with him, and recommended that nobody else work with him. And then some of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer cast,
truthfully, I really, and I know but none of them are going to touch it. I really wish that like the bigger names would come out and open up about what happened on the thing, just so everybody would know. Like, it's just all this arbitrary stuff that's been thrown around.
Give it time, it'll happen. I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
Steppenwolf.
Even Gal Gadot speaking on it. I mean, she is a big name, but not as big as Cavill or Affleck. And you heard rumors about Affleck wanting to walk off and trying to rally the troops when it came to that, but like legal things, I guess, prevented anything from
his and Whedon's quote about Gal, about her about
English
not being her first language, and that she may not have understood what he was saying. I was like, dude, come on, man.
I understood perfectly.
Even if that was like, even if that was true, like, come on, man, like. Court of public opinion, you're gonna sound like a douche saying
that. I mean, I feel like a douche laughing at it as hard as I was, and when I read that, I was like, oh my god, this guy's an idiot. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, he is that for sure. Well,
so you don't think he'll come on the show then, huh?
He might be hard up here before too long.
We could use the views. So come on.
He might think it's a great platform to express himself after reading this article. Who knows?
It's true. So, well, we'll see how that that unfolds. Definitely
was the cringiest thing I've read in a long time.
Yeah,
all caps, long time.
Especially when he's talking about his mom, like being. It's so. It's such a.
I mean, like.
Save it for the therapist. Good Lord.
Like plotting his relatives' deaths and stuff like that. There was all kinds of stuff in there.
These aren't things that you tell whatever Variety or whatever who had the article. You tell your therapist these things.
He got his appointments mixed up. He thought he wasn't the therapist.
It was probably a new therapist that he was going to get, and then this lady came to the house, got the appointment days mixed up. She showed up right after. Wait, what?
Wait. Great. Well, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
thanks for ruining our lives.
Yeah. It's been enough time talking about that a-hole.
Well, before we get on the DC side of things, they are doing one of those prequel comic things for The Flash. And seemingly this is going to be kind of a bridge between one of the Justice League movies. If I had to put money on it, for whatever reason, I bet they're going to say that theatrical is canon to this movie. I don't know why.
You think they're going to do any like stupid like one-liners like they did in Aquaman, where they were like, "You defeated Steppenwolf," and like that was it. Like that was they like acknowledged that it happened, but
probably probably so.
That was
considering that Affleck is involved to a degree. So.
Yeah, there's got to be something. Yeah. Well, and we know that there's got to be obviously there's throwbacks and throughout the movie if Zod and
what if they make these movies and then they decide, you know what, we're gonna make a sequel to Justice League. How amazing would that be? Because it could totally happen.
Not very.
It could totally happen.
Yeah. Nothing. I wouldn't be more surprised if I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet.
Sewn to the carpet.
Yeah, this one's
Surprise,
kind
Betty.
of go ahead, Ryan.
I was just quoting. Go ahead.
So yeah, prequel to the actual events that are going to unfold. So it's pre like, you know, metaverse, multiverse narrative. The villain, I think they said, is going to be Girder. Now I don't know who this is. I'm assuming one of you guys may.
I don't.
No. Cool. Well, Girder. Anybody in the comments knows.
Girder. How do you spell
Girder.
it?
Oh, Girder.
Apparently it's a character
that
that showed up on the Flash TV show before.
Oh, well, that explains why I don't know it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know anything about
Girder.
G-I-R-D-E-R.
Is she from Easttown?
Girder. My favorite Merc. Yeah. I don't know.
Girder.
My dirt. My baby Dirter. He murdered her. Girder.
Inmate at Iron Heights and an enemy of the Flash. Tony Woodward is the actual.
Oh, so it's a dude.
Name.
I would have just with the name. I thought it might have been a female villain. I wasn't totally sure what was going on with that.
No, that's
no reason. No reason to think that. I just the name didn't. I don't know. I was leaning more towards a female villain.
Hey, get woke, bro.
Powers and abilities. He was struck by the energy of the energy of the particle accelerator explosion altered his DNA, supercharged his cells, augmenting his physiology well beyond peak human condition.
Cool.
He has an organic steel transformation. So
is
he's
this one of those? Is this one of those that was like a WWE star that they brought in to be a villain on one of the episodes? Is that what happened with this one? Is that what we're doing?
It could be.
I didn't watch.
If $7 had anything to do with it, it is.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he's like Colossus, but DC.
Cool. Well, I think they're doing like 3 variant covers for this. One of them, which I think is going to be done by Andy Machete. So,
the one that you.
I didn't know he was an illustrator.
The drop.
That's what it said in the article. So maybe that is the one.
Yeah.
But the suit
doesn't look like anything in the movie.
Yeah, it didn't look like
it. It looks similar to the movie suit. It's got those veins on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It just looks better in a comic book.
It doesn't look
as most of the suits that are coming out these days.
It doesn't look as Lego.
I will guarantee you that's what's happening. They're getting all this like concept art, and they're like, "Yep, make that," and no, like, you know, not trying to make any conversion from being something on a paper to being a real costume.
I mean, like the stuff that we've seen, I'm hoping that it's just, you know, hasn't been finished yet, you know, hasn't been edited properly. So it's going to look totally different, but I can imagine Ezra putting on this new suit and somebody with a gun to the back of his head, like, you're going to wear this suit. You're going to like this suit, you know, because I don't know how you go from wearing.
He looks like he's wearing that one shot. Looks like he's wearing one of those like, you know, little karate like foam helmets that kids have to wear.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like he's wearing.
Yeah, you can definitely. You think you mentioned this the other day, Ryan, in some regard, but you can kind of feel the lack of Wilkinson when it comes to the costumes going forward.
Yeah, and I had no idea that Wilkinson's concept art was used for the Aquaman suit and Aquaman. Yeah. So Brandon explains why I liked it so much.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I said what I said, Ryan, was that explains why when I found out that the costume designer from Little Women designed the Batman suit, also explains why I don't like that suit. Because why?
I went and looked at like Little Women, just like I've never seen the movie, but like on Google to like see what, and I don't get it. Like I don't understand what the.
Guess they wanted the stitching on the cow to be authentic.
We need a great seamstress.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Someone
make the
who's
movies.
mean with a needle.
Yeah. Okay, let's get out of DC.
Good time.
Please, God, let's do it.
We got. There's really only one little Marvel thing.
We might need to take a DC hiatus for a while and just.
It's true. It is.
You
It
know,
is true. It's gotten.
just
It's gotten a little out of hand, and it's probably for everybody else's benefit that we take a break from that. But you know, we are gluttons for punishment. What can we say?
sure.
'Tis the life of a DC fan, at least in our experience. So, Alan, you can probably attest to this, but it seemed like Daredevil kind of had a rise in viewership after No Way Home, and after obviously Hawkeye with Punisher stuff.
Make season 4.
Or not Punisher,
Do
but
it.
Kingpin.
Mandy and I definitely helped out with this because we just finished it up, and
Nice.
yeah,
Nani's helping out with it. She's watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Yeah,
stuff, man. It was so much better. Season 3 was not as it was the weaker of the 3 for me, but man, it was such. I mean, there were parts of season 3 that were awesome, but
Yeah.
it's just it aged so well.
I love the fight sequences in season 3. There's some cool stuff with Bullseye.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen it.
I was not.
Which I think I talked about, but
I wasn't a huge fan of Bullseye's origin in
Yeah.
this, but I loved his, his talents, his abilities. It was really
Sure.
cool. Yeah. Sorry, we'll talk about that later.
yeah, no, that's cool. But it is interesting, or it's cool to see it get an uptick like that. And
Make season 4. Do it.
I'm
Revive it,
just
Disney.
curious. I think Alan, you and I were talking about this yesterday. I'm just interested to see where this character ends up when it comes to Marvel.
And I feel like there's, we've had all these, like, obviously the D'Onofrio stuff that's already happened, his and Murdoch's appearance in Spider-Man, but like I feel like there's been like little murmurs here and there about Karen Page and stuff, and I'm just it'd be cool to see them continue the story in some form.
Yeah, I don't see Matt Murdock's story being as good if you don't have the moral compass of Foggy Nelson and Karen Page in there. You know what I mean? Like you need those characters. They weren't side characters.
Sure.
They were central to the story in every season. So I don't know. They played so well together. They were just perfectly cast. I mean, I hope they bring them all back. And I know that D'Onofrio said as much on Twitter that it wasn't that he hopes that they all get their shot and they all get to come back. So I don't think he would. I don't know that he would have necessarily said that unless he was just trying for some bargaining chips. You know what I mean? Or unless he knew that something was going to happen with that.
Word.
Hope so.
And I mean, Disney's already got Foggy. They had him in the Mighty Ducks reboot on one of the episodes. So he's already there. They got him on.
He's living in the studio.
Yeah, he's already there. Hell, we'll just use him.
They got a cot for him in the back. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I hope they do something. I mean, obviously, it seems like they are. They wouldn't have put him in that movie.
And it's just all the what kind of reviving that world would mean for Bernthal's Punisher and that kind of thing. So,
and that I did see where we were looking at Netflix earlier, and we've started on Punisher as well, but we've started rewatching it.
I love
and
that.
It's in
I
the
love
top
the
10.
opening song for both those shows. They're great.
Yep. It's Punisher's top 10 on Netflix right now. So it's trending as well. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
I didn't finish season 2.
Well, Disney knows how to make money when people want things, so they'll figure it out.
They do that weird thing of listening to fans,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Trust me, we know what you want, guys. When have we failed you?
Yeah. Indeed. All right, so moving away from Marvel and brief little Star Wars tidbit that popped up I think a couple days ago. It was revealed that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is going to be in the Ahsoka show in an undisclosed role, so we don't know what it's going to be. But I mean, it's exciting that somebody of that caliber of talent is going to be joining the cast in addition to the ones that are already there. So I know that we've talked about the one episode that Ahsoka was in Mandalorian season 2 being, for me at least, it was one of the highlights of the entire season for me. That's one of my favorite episodes, really of the whole series so far. And I'm really excited to see what they do. I'm glad. I'm most excited to see lightsabers on this
in Star Wars.
These DC,
what a concept.
Yeah, because it's kind of for me. It's like one of those things.
I really, you know what I could do? I could go for a show about another Mandalorian.
Really? Well, have I got a deal for you, Ryan? Yeah, and we'll get to that later. As far as like, I'm excited to see something outside of that. That Mandalorian bounty hunter world.
They've milked that one. As much as it can be milked.
Alan, you have any thoughts about Mary Elizabeth Winstead? I mean, do you have as far as like her career in general? Are you a fan?
Yeah, all in all, yeah. Most of the stuff she's been in, I've enjoyed. Except for that whole Birds of Prey thing. Other than that, I pretty much enjoyed everything she's been in. So
for me, I liked a lot of her kind of earlier stuff. Obviously, Scott Pilgrim and whatnot. Sure. But had kind of like fallen into a rut with her. Birds of Prey did not help, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's not due to her. The writing was just awful. But
that's true.
I will say I watched last year. I watched Kate on Netflix, and really enjoyed that movie. She was pretty awesome.
I remember you talking about it. I didn't see that one, but 10 Cloverfield Lane, she was really good in. If you haven't seen that, it's a good showcase of her for sure. And Scott Pilgrim is, that's classic. Ramona. All right. So it's cool. So I'm excited to see. I'm just excited to see that show in general. So one cool thing.
I'm most excited about Thrawn being involved in that show, to be honest with you. Oddly enough.
Yeah. Jeff is too. I hear. And it's good to have Jeff excited for Star Wars, even if it's not going to go his way.
You know what's going to happen, right? He's going to watch it and be like, "That's not what happened in the books."
I know. That's what I was saying.
This is worse than them even not making anything.
One cool thing that popped up. We got 2 more news stories, and then we'll get to some trailers. But was that Brian Cox said that he was originally up for the role of, or basically offered the role of Robert Baratheon in Game of Thrones, but kind of basically was pretty blunt and said it was not good money, and the role was going to be for 1 season, so it didn't really matter in terms of how popular the show would end up being. There's really not a lot of opportunity there, but I think that would have been awesome to see him in that role, especially having Sean Bean opposite him in the Ned Stark role. I love Brian Cox, and if you're watching Succession, it's not like Succession is the only thing he's known for. He's been around forever.
Bourne movies, man, he's great in the Bourne movies.
Yeah, he's great in everything.
That video you sent of the Succession ordering a pizza thing went viral online.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah. I just thought that was cool.
Jerry says, "Yo, what's up?
What's up, Jerry?
What's up?
What's up, man?"
So one other thing before we move on to some trailers. I know that you guys don't share my enthusiasm necessarily as far as having a love for this franchise as far as a video game is concerned, but they did cast Riley for the Last of Us series, which is cool. It's interesting because Riley is a DLC character from the first game. They had this little like side story that was more a prequel of sorts, featuring one of the main characters, Ellie, like when she was living in this kind of quarantine. It seemed like more of a boarding school type situation. But so her and this girl were kind of best friends and only knew this life post apocalypse, essentially. And so just kind of a day in the life of them. And so I imagine this would be, if I had to guess, some sort of flashback sequence to inject a little bit of character onto Ellie. But it's cool that they cast that role for the series. And that actress, I remember, I think she was in Suicide Squad. She was
Bloodsport's daughter. Yeah. She
and
stole a watch.
I thought she was
to watch TV on.
Yeah, I thought that was a funny scene. I enjoyed her scene with him.
Yeah.
So, but that's cool. Cool that they're bringing that character in the fold. I know that you guys don't have a lot that you could comment on it, having not played the games, but I'm just excited to see what they do with this show.
I'm interested to check it out just because my sensibilities tend to align with yours. So I'll definitely watch the show. Check it out.
Seems.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is ripe for. I'm stoked that they're doing it long form series, and because they tried to make it into a movie for a while, and I'm glad that this is definitely the route to go. And having Neil Druckmann involved, who was the director of the game, both games, as well as Craig Mazin, who did Chernobyl. I don't know. Did you guys watch Chernobyl on HBO?
No,
you wouldn't know if you did.
So. No.
Man, it's a really well done show, but it's a hard watch. Yeah, I'm excited. I think that's having both of them involved just gives me a lot of hope that they're going to do it right. So
cool.
We'll see.
And I want you to have something good in your life.
You deserve it. You deserve something, Brandon. You deserve something.
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
That suit, good Lord, you deserve it.
I know. No. Well, speaking of Batman-ish characters, we got a Moon Knight trailer. A week or so ago? Yeah, I guess it was last week.
Yeah.
Monday
last week. Yeah.
This trailer debuted on some football game that I wasn't aware of. But,
I was watching, waiting for it.
Nice. Took one for the team, eh?
Yeah, I was waiting for Ryan to text and say that the trailer was out, and then I was going to go watch it.
So, what'd you guys think of the trailer?
I'm stoked for the multiple personalities angle of this show. Just think Oscar Isaac is just gonna crush that. What's up, Dave?
Super Dave, what's
up? I'll be honest. Beyond Oscar Isaac, the trailer didn't really move the needle for me. But I won't say that it stocked down.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the show already. I didn't necessarily even need a trailer. So yeah.
Well, I mean, if you squint really hard, Ryan, or maybe you could do some color correcting post. You got your wide-eyed Batman-ish type character there. So
true. Disney would even do that before DC.
Alan, what about you? Oh, you and I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but this is the barometer for me for Daredevil, for the Punisher, for all of those shows. So I'm really, really going to be paying close attention to this.
On the poster.
And it looks, like the one scene, this scene right here in particular, where he stands up and kind of turns and looks. He just finished pummeling that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's promising. That looked very Daredevil.
That is for sure. Yeah.
Alan, you should cut print out a picture of that poster and cut the arm out and tape it to the front of your Zack Snyder's Justice League and add him to the arms.
There we go.
Going up in the air.
There we go. Yeah. That's really what it reminded me of, I guess. Most, but it was a really awesome poster. I have loved everything they've put out for this show, and I know Ryan, you said it didn't really move the needle one way or the other for you, but we didn't see a lot
of Moon Knight in it, I guess.
That 2 seconds of beating the piss out of whoever that was he was beating up. I was like, oh God, this is going to be awesome. Yeah. Watch, that'll be the only beating that happens.
I'll be honest with you. I really don't I was very happy that they didn't put a dorky stinger at the end of this. First, I'll say that.
Yeah. True.
But I understand like the opportunity. They were like, oh, we got to do the Disney Plus thing with him jumping across the way. But it looks so like dorky to me.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't care for that ending on that shot with that Disney Plus sweep thing, little thing.
Yeah,
I did see that what Dave's talking about the one guy passed away from the skiing accident, one of the actors on the show.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah,
and
dang,
yeah.
Thing even comes out. Good Lord.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm stoked. It seems like, and I don't know a lot about this character, but it seems very much something that's going to appeal to my sensibilities. Just like Daredevil does when it comes to Marvel, in terms of it being one of the closer characters to a vigilante Batman type character.
I fully expect this show to be like Moon Knight, every other Marvel show that
I hope so
has come out.
I mean,
that's where my excitement level is. Yeah, like Oscar. Yeah. And it's a lot of it is due to, like, first off, I this is a character that I love. Second off, Oscar Isaac is just everything he does.
Well, and they awesome. and they released, Hawkeye, which kind of got me going upwards on the Disney shows because they were kind of falling flat for me, and I felt like Hawkeye kind of
I enjoyed
was going in the right direction. It's not going to be in the same vein at all, I don't believe, to Moon Knight, but it got me more excited for Moon Knight because I was like, well, this show didn't suck. You know what I mean?
Honestly, the Hawkeye thing, I think for me was just kind of a like flash in the pan, everything aligned. Because I just love the Christmas comic book show thing. I don't know. There's just something fun about like that time of year, having the fun show that you can pop on every week. I mean, I would love to see Disney tool around with some of these darker street level characters.
And that's what, and I guess that's what got me with Hawkeye was, bringing Kingpin into it. So, Daredevil's there, I guess that kind of.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be too much longer.
Dave said, March. When did this character first come out in comics? I actually know this because I've got the first issue, like Moon Knight 1 is 1980. He appeared in Werewolf by Night.
Issue 32, I think.
Yeah.
1975.
First run of Moon Knight was in 1980. And that's the there's a lot of characters in that issue that are going to be in the show. So
word.
Interesting to
it's I think it's first episode's like March something. So not too much longer. But the Oscar Isaac element to it is, man, I'll watch anything. Oscar Isaac and John Bernthal, they're like my go-to stands when it comes to anything that pops up with them. And I'm like, all right, yep, I'll watch that. And hearing, do you guys remember whenever they were all the casting rumors for the Batman, Oscar Isaac name was mentioned or floated a couple times in the press, and I was like, I can see it. I can see him as Bruce Wayne. I can see him as Batman. And so
he just has a way of like, and he's like, I wouldn't look at him and be like, that's Bruce Wayne, but he just has a way of settling into roles that's just, I don't know.
Well, his performance in Dune actually that sold me. I was like, he could have been Bruce Wayne. Like that, he had that more regal presence to him. You know what I mean? That was really cool.
Yeah. He's a great actor.
Was there an animated show with Moon Knight? I think there was an animated show with Moon Knight. Maybe it was in Spider-Man or something. I just remember being stoked when those episodes were on. Yeah, he was in the Spider-Man animated series.
Okay.
Interesting. Cool. Well, we're all excited for that. Not too much longer till we get to see it, so that's cool. One other trailer that we'll touch on that dropped that I know Ryan and I are excited for, and we'll see about Alan, is the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which we got the title for. It was just Amazon's Lord of the Rings show up until that point. I had a cool little tease, I guess, with some voiceover from Galadriel. One would assume
They should have like voice modulated her, like just put that like like phone thing that they do to people.
Yeah. What is it, Ryan?
She sounded like a middle school girl, whoever was doing the voiceover. And I know you mentioned the Kate Blanchett thing, which is true. Like that's always going to be like,
yep, it's
the
ingrained in
bar
us
for it. But like, I don't know, there was no baritone in that voice at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you can go two ways. You can try to mimic it, or you can do something different. And I
would even like maybe you do a guy. Like I don't know. It just felt weaker than
sure.
Caitlin.
Well, again, yeah, it's one of those things where we have that performance ingrained in us. So from the opening of Fellowship. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I thought that the teaser was cool. It was also cool to see that they did it practically for the most part. I'm sure there's a lot of post stuff in it as well, but
sparkles.
Yeah, man, I am excited that we talked about this on our most anticipated episode on the CiNEMACHiNE.
Brandon and I's most anticipated overall movies and everything for the next year. So.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, it seems like they're going to be putting, at least their best foot forward with it, which is all you can really ask for.
Spending a lot of money on it. That's for sure. And you put that kind of effort into creating a practical, because that could have very easily been done in with VFX. But that would turn into a tease for.
Well, you see the picture of Bezos with the finished product.
Yeah.
So I was going to say Bezos is just going to have one less rocket when this is all said and done.
Yeah,
just so he can make the show. So no big deal.
Yeah. But yeah, Rings of Power is interesting. That's going to be kind of what it's going to focus on. So
I like that you said that Howard Shore is going to be involved with the music, and I kind of felt that a little bit. And that I was wondering if he was going to be involved when I was listening to the music in that little teaser, because there was that little, I don't know, same kind of epic.
Yeah, it's Howard Shore and Bear McCready. So both, and Bear McCready's good. He's a good composer as well. So more up and coming, but still solid. So
maybe this one won't cost $700 on vinyl when it comes out.
Yeah, it's true. They'll have to. You would think that at some point Mondo,
you would hope,
do a reissue or a new pressing or something. So fingers crossed, it's going to happen. We're going to will it into existence.
We'll do it ourselves.
Yeah. All right, that's all for trailers. Let's get into what we've been watching. Alan,
Alan's got quite the list here.
Sent me
well, when you laid up when you laid up with COVID and all you're doing is watching TV, you watch a lot of shit.
I actually one of these in here I actually watched, and I've forgotten that I watched it. So when you talk about it, I'll talk about it as well.
Cool. But yeah,
so Alan,
I think like we talked about before, we finished up Daredevil, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I know that you couldn't not that you couldn't tell by my reactions earlier, but man, I love that show. I could go back and watch it. I could go back and watch every episode again right now after we just finished it. Like it is that.
Oddly enough, my favorite suit in that show is when he's in the black and he's got the ropes on his arms.
Yeah, the final. Yeah, that's what I actually Googled it and pulled up the comic cover, with the ropes, and I was like, look at this. It looks, that's cool. One of those where the suit translated perfectly in real life as opposed to some of the other ones we've seen recently.
Leather, full body. I'm thinking leather, head to toe. What do you think?
Yeah, but we've been we finished that up, and we jumped.
First fight, just ripped to shreds.
Yeah, But I know that you guys, I know we've talked about it a few times in the text and stuff, but I've been watching Peacemaker as well. So
I watched the first episode.
Yeah, and I will say that it was by far the weakest of the episodes. So I'm not going to try to convince you. I know I've seen the text. I know how you feel about the show, Ryan. So I'm not going to try to talk you into watching it. But it's honestly,
there's just a lot of John Cena's skin in that first episode.
Well, there's it's like I told Brandon. I mean, I put it right there with the Suicide Squad as far as writing quality and stuff like that. It's really no different to me than that movie is. And you can tell that they.
Steve says I've only seen a couple of Daredevil and liked it. It's a good one. He's finished it, man.
It really is. I mean, Peacemaker, don't get me wrong. I'm sitting here saying this, and I enjoy parts of Peacemaker. I actually like Vigilante. I thought I'd hate him as a character, but it turns out he's probably one of the stronger ones out of the show. But it doesn't hold a candle to Daredevil, obviously. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. Did it bother you in the first episode what they did with Amanda Waller?
I don't know. I'm wanting to know where this goes. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea what's happening. You know, like there's so much left.
And I guess for me, not necessarily like what it means with her being her daughter being involved.
Yeah.
But I did not appreciate seeing like Mother Amanda Waller. That's
what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't need to see that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out that element of the show. Like, is that going to come into play later? Her affinity for her mom versus being a part of the team.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's got to play out. That for the sake of like,
like a little tie-in.
That would be really lame.
I don't think they will. I mean, it's one thing I will say is Gunn may be a little immature in his writing, but he's pretty solid on his storytelling on most of it. So. I'm intrigued by the villains or the supposed villains that there are in this.
Is it just rumored stuff?
No, it's the Project Butterfly is.
Okay.
I mean, spoilers. It's like these aliens that are inside of people, look like a little butterfly, but not really. I mean, like an alien looking, weird looking thing. But there's more to it. Apparently, at one point, somebody says something along the lines of, "It's not what you think." The butterfly, where actually, and then he gets shot before he gets a chance to say anything. So you don't know where that story's going. So I mean, it's done enough to hook me to where I want to know how the story ends. You know what I mean?
Actually, Starro still.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's gonna be Project Starfish, Project Butthole. But I don't know. Like I said, it's done enough to keep me going. It's not like I'm like hanging on the edge of my seat waiting on the next episode to drop.
There's been multiple times where I've logged on to HBO Max to see if there's something I wanted to watch, and I see it there, and I'm like, maybe I'll just watch this. And then I'm like, I can't do it. I'll just wait and see if anything big happens on Twitter.
Well, and I will say, we had talked about it. I know you sent something earlier in the group chat about Gunn's girlfriend being one of the top searched actresses on IMDb. She is actually not that bad of an actress. I mean, it's not like he just stuck her in there and she's terrible. You know what I mean? So she's
I know.
not that bad of an actress.
I would agree with that. Watching the first episode,
she's one of the stronger characters on the show for sure.
It's more of, I think it's just hilarious how like carte blanche he got with WB. You want to add your girlfriend? Go ahead. Let's do it.
Little brother, whatever.
He's in everything returning character, not just one thing. Let's do it. Let's build something around her.
I don't know. I really thought that I was going to hate Vigilante, and I've really come to enjoy his character. He has some scenes in this past episode that are, they're hilarious. Yes, there's way too much.
You are correct.
John Cena shouldn't be wearing those things. It's very emasculating watching him walk around.
Definitely not be being filmed in them. That's for sure.
Yeah, they really want to make that a thing.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, Dave. I agree. I felt the same way about Suicide Squad though too. So,
and so I enjoyed Suicide Squad. So
I'm accepting that I'm just not. I get other people love it. I'm just not a James Gunn guy, I guess.
And like Dave was saying, the soundtrack for the show has been pretty awesome so far as well. Gunn is not disappointed in that front, per the usual.
Later on, man.
Good night, dude.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I've watched that. Started watching The Punisher. We're only like 2 episodes in, and I realized how much I forgot about this show. You know, so not much to say on that front.
Bernthal's just great.
He is.
I don't need to tell Brandon.
No,
we already know.
Unfortunately, I mentioned this earlier, but I couldn't get through season 2. I just felt like the writing was lacking.
Good.
Jigsaw's story, Billy's story was. I was not a fan of that. Trying to humanize his character, it just really sucked the life out of that.
Ben Barnes is that the actor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly, I'm not a huge fan of his. Like I watched Westworld, wasn't a huge fan of him.
Yep.
What did I see recently? Oh, Katie watched
Shadow and Bones or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mandy watched it too.
Didn't think he was good in that. I don't know.
He plays almost the exact same character in Punisher as he did in Westworld. You know what I mean? Just a douchey, like pretty boy. Like it just. I didn't.
Not seen Punisher. Yep, you should check that one out too.
Definitely,
you'd like it. If you dig Daredevil, you'd like it.
And I'm starting to get better, as far as my sickness goes. The COVID's really on its way out, and I really want to attribute all of that to the Zack Snyder trilogy, to Man of Steel.
It does that.
BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
We don't want to say that we've got the cure for the COVID, but you're looking.
I'm living proof. Look at how good I look right now. I was on death's door 2 days ago, and I finished.
You look even better than David Ayer now.
Oh yeah.
Get that ZH
and I'll say,
look at those awesome toasters.
I know,
great.
I know. And I'll hold my last one till you talk about yours, Ron. We'll talk about it together.
There. All right.
Cool. Well, how was your rewatch though of
God, dude.
the trilogy as it's
I know.
been?
So be honest with me. When you're watching it, like obviously you enjoy it. It's great. It's freaking amazing. But is there not like a large part of you that's just really mad when you're watching them? Because you're just like, what? Like, why? Why aren't they continuing this?
I know. Oh, I mean, every time. I mean, like I said, it never fails. Like the certain scenes, especially in ZSJL, especially in the Justice League. It's not even Zack Snyder. It is the Justice League. The Justice League is gone. It is no more. It does not exist. So when I refer to Justice League, I'm referring to Zack Snyder Justice League. But there's so many scenes in that movie where I'm just like, what? I'm just like speechless.
That the movie was so different that like it's to the point where like if I was going to show somebody Justice League, it would be purely comedic. Like,
oh yeah.
And there's no one who would watch that movie and not think that it was absolutely ridiculous.
And I mean, what's like
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, like Cal, he loves Zack Snyder's Justice League, but Cal will sit there and watch Justice League because it's campy and kiddie. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's a kids movie. It really is.
You need to cut that.
Dude, I've tried to. I was gonna throw it away the other day, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm gonna send this off. It's got a scratch. I need to have it repaired.
Look, just keep the case and just buy another copy of ZSJL. Put the disc in there.
I have 2 copies.
I remember this being different. Yeah,
I bought the 4K copy for like $5 when I had some extra money on Amazon, and then I got the steelbook now. So yeah, I do have 2 copies of it.
Yeah.
But I do get a little frustrated for sure.
I got sad, guys. I watched CSJL last Friday, and it just boggles my mind how they did what they did.
We're right there with you. Yeah. We get sad a lot too. It's okay.
If you can't tell,
this
turns
into a little bit of an intervention, a group.
Yeah, it's like group therapy in here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like pricing laser surgery to have all the DC characters removed from my arm because I'm covered with them. And it's so embarrassing now. Oh.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, Alan. It's very brave. It's very brave of you.
This is a friendly place.
Yeah. It's a
That's all we need. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Virtual hug, everybody.
Well, the virtual hugs are going to keep coming for me because I have been watching the Book of Boba Fett. I know that you guys both gave up on the show. If I was a smarter person, I would have as well.
This was so boring. I watched the first episode. It was so boring. I had to get up and walk around a couple times. I was like, "What is happening? Like, do something!" God.
Yeah,
zero hooks. Zero.
Yeah. Well, and the first 2 episodes are the strongest of the series so far. 3 and 4. Good Lord. It's like, I don't know. I don't understand how this got past or through approvals when it came to like Filoni and Favreau.
It was weird when they just like threw that on the end of, we were like, oh, they're making this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, and you can see a lot of that. Yeah. You can see a lot of that. Like, it feels like, I mean, Ryan, I sent you that video of the 3rd episode, that chase sequence where it feels like it's like an on rails, like, power. I mean, they had the Power Rangers music behind it, and it's pretty true to how that. Yeah. It's so bad. And then like they just keep, I don't understand. I don't know what they're, well, it's like you were saying, it's just boring. There's not, it's, there's nothing that interesting with the show going on. It's not exciting. There's not any cool set pieces. Although like we've spent so much time in Star Wars in Tatooine that it's just like, okay, we get it.
New planet.
And
give us our call back every once in a while.
Yeah, they talk about this galaxy far, far away, but yet we stay on one planet.
Yeah. And it's coupled with the fact that we like I said, I think I said this last week, maybe not, or whatever it was. Coupled with the fact that we just had 2 good seasons of Mandalorian, another bounty hunter. Mm-hmm. That's a lot more interesting than this bounty hunter. And I think Ryan, you mentioned this. Like, Boba Fett is just he works as a secondary character.
He's great.
He works as a cool looking character, really, and that's all he's ever been.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He was created to be a secondary
he was
character.
In Empire. I will say, like, he was awesome. Like, kind of an awesome threat, like in the background threat. Mm-hmm. Beyond just looking cool. But yeah, I mean, he's like, don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah,
he's too much of a good thing kind of deal.
And for me, a lot of the like hangups, besides it just being boring, the stuff that they're trying that's quote unquote new, like they're trying to inject these like modern sensibilities, these like a tattoo parlor. What would a tattoo parlor be in Star Wars? And so they had this sequence with this like,
this is true, right?
Android tattoo parlor where they modify people's bodies with droid parts.
Sometimes you need to leave your characters mysterious.
Yeah,
this is an excellent example.
It's true. It is true. And then like the biker gang, like the colorful biker gang with all the candy coated speeder bikes, rush. And then the like Harley speeder bike gang.
It's just not something that you, especially on Tatooine, like all of everything that's ever been done with Tatooine has been barren and dry and like there's not a color palette like that.
Yeah, I know. The character model, like the character designs are all just like weird. They just don't fit in Star. They don't feel like characters from Star Wars. They're way too modern.
So weird.
But I don't know. I don't. There's so many back to tank sequences with Boba, of him flashing back. It's like, oh, another back to tank sequence of him dreaming about, post Sarlacc pit stuff.
The lollipop
gangs. Accurate. It's bad. I'm watching it because I like Star Wars, and I'm just gonna keep watching it because there's only like 3 episodes left, I think.
Brandon texted me after that episode. He was like, "You need to watch this episode so we can dump on it on CAPECAST."
Yeah, it's.
I didn't.
It's just no. That's smart. It's smart, but Alan's taking. He's taking Peacemaker for us. I'm gonna take Boba Fett.
There we go. That's what I was gonna say. You got Boba Fett. I got Peacemaker. There we go.
Yeah,
and I'm happy.
Ryan, step up to the plate.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. I guess. Just real quick though, another thing that I watched recently, we ended up finishing Harry Potter with the kiddo. So we watched Deathly Hallows Part 2, and I hadn't seen these last 2 movies maybe one time since theaters. So it was good to return to this. And really enjoyed it. And I think this is one of those rare franchises that really just nailed it throughout. I'm sure that book readers probably have their quibbles with it here and there, but I just think it's so well done. And especially when you look at what they've done with the Potterverse post with, the Fantastic Beasts stuff, it's like, man, this was special. And watching a little bit of the reunion was cool to see. I haven't finished yet. Ron, I know you watched it. That was
totally
cool
worth it if you're a Potter fan.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah, so
the production value on it too is surprisingly good. Like,
it
was they went for it.
Yep.
Agreed. I will say a big reason. I think Ralph Fiennes is a big reason for why I enjoy.
It's Ray Fiennes, Ryan.
It's what?
I know that I'm not the one that typically gets the pronunciation. Ray Fiennes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know that.
It's spelled like Ralph Fiennes, but Ray Fiennes is how you pronounce it. I know that this is hard for you. This is very hard for you to take, I'm sure.
We'll have to tell Al.
Yeah.
But he's a huge reason why I love those last 3.
Harry Potter is dead. Laughing, so great. Yeah, that is great. It's great to. I remember when we saw that at midnight back when they used to do midnight showings, and they actually had the Potter circular 3D glasses for that movie when it was in 3D, which is cool. But yeah, really good, satisfying conclusion. We're starting to rewatch Potter.
It always, every time I watch the last movie, I'm just like, I get to the end, I'm like, this is great, and then I realize they're doing the years later sequence at the end. I'm like,
19 years later.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you want to do that, if you want to.
Albus Dumbledore, whatever.
Yeah.
Albus.
Add all of the names together.
Yeah.
If you want to see it done right, I highly recommend Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Like that play, there's no singing. It's not your typical Broadway musical. But they do a lot of special effects magic in it. Fire coming from their wands and things like that. They have a lot of different things that you wouldn't typically see. But that is the proper version of that story when they grow up and they have kids.
So you saw that?
Yeah, me and Mandy went and saw it.
In middle-aged people,
we saw it in February. We saw it in February of 2019, right before, because now they've switched it into one singular show. But when we went and saw it, it was part 1 and part 2. We went and saw 2.5 hours or so with an intermission in it, and then we had a 3-hour break while they reset everything, and then we went for another 2.5 hours for part 2 in the same day. And it was by far one of the most amazing things. I don't know that I could ever see another play there's no way it could be better than that.
That's cool.
Nothing.
Was it at the Fox or somewhere?
No, we went to New York. We went to New York and saw it on Broadway. Yeah,
gotcha.
We saw the year 1 cast, like the real deal, before they started changing everything out. So yeah.
When we were watching these movies, something happened. Like Katie saw on screen, like someone compared height wise to another and was like, how tall is this person? I don't remember who it was. But she started looking up the heights of all the people in the Harry Potter movies. Ron Ron is by far the tallest person in the cast, and he's like 5'8". Yeah. I'm like, how did this happen?
That's funny.
Like every time we were looking, we just kept looking people up. It was like 5'5", 5'6".
Bunch of short. Well, Chris could have got a part in that.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. So we watched that, and we're gonna rewatch the series with my nephew. He's reading the books, so we're watching them as he finishes the books because we never learned to read, but he's gonna read them for us. And so then this weekend we were planning to start.
Nani feels that.
Nice.
She could have been Harry Potter.
Yeah. We wanted to start something new with Luna, my daughter, and we gave her the option of starting Ghostbusters 1, watching the trilogy of that, or the MCU, and she ended up picking the MCU. So we started with Iron Man, which was super fun to return to.
Now. I know.
Yeah. It was, man. This is a really great movie. I've always enjoyed this one, but it just solidifies. Like, it's so brilliant in terms of like just picture perfect casting for Downey in this role.
Favreau just crushed this one.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's by far one of the best origins that Marvel did. Really, I think as far as Marvel.
I watched this one fairly recently as well. And I feel like it's one that I revisit every couple of years or something, and it's the same reaction. Like, God, this is a great one.
Yeah, it is good.
What happened? In a lot of ways.
The last the fight at the end gets a little like whatever with Ironmonger.
Yeah.
And so that is what it is. But everything up until that point is fantastic. And I just and it's one of those things too. Like, I know, Ryan, you're a stickler for recasting. I'm kind of happy that Terrence Howard is out and Don Cheadle is in it. I know it's one of those things where, having spent so many movies with Cheadle, I just see him as Rhodey now, and and Terrence Howard feels like the imposter in this scenario.
No way Cheadle could have pulled off the infamous GIF that all of us send to each other. Next time, baby. No way.
You don't think so?
No way.
I think so. I think he could have.
Like
Cheadle. I think Cheadle's a better actor. I think it's a better get than Terrence Howard.
I'm totally joking about this, by the way.
When I will admit, when they announced that Cheadle was going to replace Howard, I was a little apprehensive on that because of the way he was portrayed in the first movie. But it just that character went a completely different direction after that. Like, he didn't even act. It was everything was completely different. So
and it's I guess it's all hindsight 2020 at this point. But I really do prefer Cheadle over Howard.
I do too.
And I agree. Super Dave.
RDJ is Tony Stark. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Ben Affleck is Batman. Henry Cavill is Superman. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like I said, it was just it's such a great foundation to build this entire MCU franchise on, and just all the, like, even down to like so many staples that would be carried, like with just the Iron Man heads up display stuff was that they carried that throughout the entire 20 plus movies. And it was really inventive and cool. Really great way to kind of get in the head of Tony inside this machine. And also you've got really, really great beard going on with with Jeff Bridges.
It's just like your opinion, man.
I know. Yeah, I think we have that one. We have that your opinion, man. Do we? No.
We should.
We had it somewhere. Maybe it's on the other
Al,
one. I think
probably
it's
deleted it because you used it so many times.
I think it's on the CiNEMACHiNE one because that's the only time we would use it. Because it's an Al drop.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so watched Iron Man. So it's gonna be fun. There's gonna be some hurdles in there for me to get over in the MCU rewatch. Oh, you get okay.
You'll do it anyway.
Right there.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
There you go. Thank you. We'll have to copy that drop over to CAPECAST. That's it for me. Watch list. Ryan, I know that you and Alan watched something similar, but you said you were also watching The Witcher, right?
Yeah, Katie and I started watching The Witcher. It's slow and steady just because of the baby, and I'm trying to I'm really hammering Ozark right now because I love that show, and this season is freaking great again. So I'm trying to finish that as fast as I can. But this is a fun show, and I'm interested to see kind of what they do with the more linear season.
It's really fun without the time jumps for sure. It gets a little more into the lore of the monsters, which is neat. I like that.
I agree. They do a pretty good job of I don't know, kind of every episode is a monster hunt of some sort, but they do a great job of it doesn't feel very rigid.
Yeah.
Like the kind of the through line of the story, all of these hunts kind of like feel like organically transitioned to and Cavill's great. He's awesome in this.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be as bitter as I was watching the first season because CSJL came out.
There you go. Silver linings.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I still gotta start this show.
It's a fun show. Yeah, it's a fun show for sure.
Cool. Well, you guys also said that you had something that you watched.
Yep.
Not together, but
Alan. And I agree, 9G. It's great.
Yes.
We both watched Injustice, the latest add to HBO Max on the animated side.
I played Injustice 2 last week. Does that count?
Definitely not giving up hope, Dave.
Never.
How can you? It's all we got. So, Alan, I know you were a fan.
I didn't actually. I don't know. I mean, I never really said I was a fan.
Maybe I misread your text.
No, I enjoyed the story aspect of it. I was not a huge fan of the animation style. I liked how they took liberties because they would have had to have made a 4-hour movie to make, more video game accurate. You know what I mean? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I like some of the directions. I like some of the add-ins that they went with Plastic Man, being a character in it and things like that. Deathwing. That was a little that was a little weird, but
came out of freaking nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I was like, to begin with, I was like, holy, they killed him, and then I was like, oh, well, yeah. Well, they're going to do that with him. I didn't know what to say after that. That was
this movie or this thing started. I texted Brandon. I was like, I'm going to try and watch this and not get really angry because of the the parallels between what Zach was going to do. I got like 10 or 15 minutes in, and I texted Brandon. I was like, I'm already angry. Yeah, I don't know. The animated stuff, and I've been a huge proponent of all their animated stuff. I've freaking loved it for years, really since as a kid, I even loved with all the animated shows. But like as far as the features, the first Doomsday movie that came, Superman Doomsday, Justice League New Frontier, that kind of stuff on. That was like 2010 ish, a little earlier.
2000s,
yeah. And I loved the storyline. They an animation style that kind of had like an anime twist on DC characters. All the Batman, Bad Blood, the dark stuff, and then through Apocalypse War, which kind of wrapped up that whole saga. And I own all of those. They're by far my favorite animated anything.
Yeah.
But ever since Apocalypse War, when they wrapped up that whole arc, I'm yet to find one that I've enjoyed. Like, I don't know. I appreciated the consistency of the animation across a lot of those movies.
Yeah.
These all just feel very, like, I don't know. There's something to like about, and it's kind of how I wanted DC to approach the live action stuff, was like, keep an aesthetic, but you can tell stories with these characters in unique ways with different directors, but still, be telling a story, like an overarching story along the way. They did it perfectly with that whole saga of animated movies. Yeah. But since then, it kind of feels, honestly, it feels kind of like the movies do, like the live action movies do. It's just kind of do whatever, a one-off stuff, different animation stuff. And the stories haven't been as compelling. I don't know. It's just, I keep waiting.
Yeah.
Keep waiting for
this was like... Well, like kind of like you said, I can go back and watch the Death of Superman and the Reign of the Superman stories. Those animated movies. I can go back and watch those once a week if I wanted to. Sure. I love them.
Yeah.
But this one, I sat and watched it all the way through, and there were characters in it. There were aspects that some of the characters I liked. I liked Plastic Man. I liked his role in the movie. I thought that he was a little more well written than some of the other ones were. But
True, Dave.
And some of the voice casting was good. Yeah. Some of it was not. Some of it was,
there was some weird voice casting in this
that Justin Hartley as Superman, that just sounded weird to me. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. But the guy that his name escapes me, the guy that did Batman,
I don't even know who it was in this one.
Dude, he was he worked. I enjoyed him. He almost had like a Jensen Ackles kind of feel to his voice as well.
And I didn't like the Long Halloween either. I didn't like that.
See, I didn't. I actually liked the storytelling in the Long Halloween. I didn't. The animation style still wasn't great, but I like the storytelling in the Long Halloween.
I don't know.
So
like,
Kevin Pollak is the Joker in this. I'm just looking at the cast.
It's somebody I've never heard be the Joker.
And I did actually like the Joker's small portion in the movie. I thought that was one of the better portrayals of the Joker as far as the writing goes. He was very, very, very demented.
Well, here's the thing. I totally agree. That was the most compelling. The beginning of it was the most compelling part.
Yeah. The Flash is gone within 5 minutes of the movie. I was like,
it was great. It was awesome. But there was just that, like, in the back of my head, like, should have done this live action, guys.
Yeah,
what we're doing.
Yep, for sure. But the voice casting was hit or miss in this one for me, for sure.
It just feels like that management is leaking over into.
It seemed like with the animated stuff, they weren't scared to do anything. There was no hold bar. And it just seems like
that's the thing too. Like, that's the thing I can always fall back on with DC. Yep. It's the animated stuff. Like, that's where our sweet spot is. No, I don't even have that.
But yeah, it was middle of the road and DC animated for me. It was right there with most of the other new stuff now. That, and I did watch the Justice Society World War.
Yeah.
World War II or whatever it was. I did watch that as well. It was the same.
Agreed.
Interesting. I've played the games, but
yeah,
that's, I don't know if I've played the story of the first Injustice. The story of Injustice 2 is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The game.
The story of the first one's just hard to beat. The story mode on that first one, I love that.
Felt
story.
like in this this animated movie, that kind of like they had some brutality with Superman, but it kind of feels like after the beginning, how like crazy cruel that Joker was and stuff. I was really expecting them to go really dark, and they just kind of like wussed out with.
And it was a lot of cutscene violence. You didn't really see it. It was weird. A lot of assumed violence.
It was it was goofy. Like it kind of, I don't know.
Like you said, the Joker
it didn't sell what had happened to him psychologically to me. It was just it definitely felt. And I mean, I know it's an animated movie, so it is what it is. But like you said, they had done so well with that whole run, ending with Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Just they had set the they I guess they did not have cutscene violence for they
flew too too close to the sun, I guess, and there was nowhere there was no way they were going to top that, so
the new management team came in and they were like, we made this is for children. What are we doing?
Proud father moment. Cal's watched all of those with me. So.
Nice. That's awesome.
After we watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, Cal was like, "Can I watch the rest of those movies?" And I was like, why not? Let's just go ahead.
It's great.
There's no boobs in it, and that's really the only thing that I was really worried about.
Apocalypse War, man. That movie is so. I've watched that so many times.
It really is good. I would have loved to seen Zack get his hands on something like that for sure.
Yeah, he was about to.
Yep.
Brandon, you should. I know you're not a huge fan of the DC stuff, the animation, but that's one that you would quite enjoy.
That'd be a nice marathon.
Even if you just watch Apocalypse War, it's just great. It's a good one-off too.
Yeah,
gotcha. I may do that.
I own it, so
Oh, good.
You can watch my digital.
Okay. Thank you. Cool. Well, any physical media purchases for you guys?
I don't think so.
I got this sweet nebulizer that I'm doing breathing treatments with. I didn't bring it up here with me, though. That's pretty much all I got this week because I didn't leave the house.
Nice. Yeah.
I got some stuff in the pull box at the comic shop that's waiting on me that I've got to go get. I just haven't been by there yet. So.
Ryan sent me a screenshot that his Weta Darkseid figure is coming late this year.
Late
I guess
22. It's supposed to be first quarter. I was getting so excited.
Yeah, but tell him what I told you. Tell him what I told you.
He said that I needed something good, DC, to look forward to.
Yeah.
I have been contemplating pre-ordering the 1/10 scale Iron Studios, the Darkseid and Steppenwolf.
You've got the Superman. It's
I know.
Right.
That's
Tell your wife it's the
He's
only responsible thing to do.
I know. That's what I told. I showed her. I was like, the Nightmare Batman. I was like, he's next. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button on that one, and then. But that Steppenwolf, God, he looks so good, man. Oh, it looks so good.
When is the Hot Toys supposed to ship? Do you know?
It's this. I think it's August. I think it's like maybe a July to August time frame fulfillment.
I think the Iron Studios is like November. I guess it's like towards the end of 2022.
And they keep making freaking statues and merch for this thing. It's crazy. You see that we showed it on, or we were texting about it, the special Blu-ray or
that's some of the mother boxes and all that.
Yeah. Some overseas distributor. Pretty sure.
Cool.
Like limited, like 500 per,
like 500 pieces
per box or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
They could have updated the cover art, but that's okay.
Yeah,
that's what I will say. That while Mandy may have sprung and paid a little extra on eBay to get me that one, at least I got that cover.
That's awesome, man.
Because
they just need to make. I don't know why they can't make one with the flag.
The flag or the rubble.
I mean, it's on the disc when you open it. It's on the disc. It's right there. Yeah. They used it. They just didn't use it in the right spot.
And they didn't correct his eyes or the Superman crest.
But I do love the centerfold when you open it up and pull the disc out and you see them all.
I'm like,
around.
Zach even said, like, yeah, I just approved the art for it. I'm like, come on, Zach, come on.
He's busy. A lot going on. Oversight.
Come on, man. Come on.
All right. Well, let's I guess recap what's coming out. I guess nothing's changed since last we got on here, but yeah, Batman March 4th. That's going to be the next one up. And we mentioned that Morbius had gotten pushed to April 1st until it gets pushed again, and then Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness May 6th. So
they're just going to push it until one day they're like, yeah, we actually never made that movie.
It's gonna be like the Sinbad Shazam movie that never happened. The Mandela effect. Well, I'll remember this movie one day, but we never actually saw it.
Yeah.
And I still haven't gone in and corrected that Batman. No, it's the Batman.
Okay. It's okay. Brandon, it's a little off, just like DC.
Yeah. So that's what you got to look forward to.
Still looks better than the suit does.
It's true.
Amen.
Very true. All right. Anything else, gents?
I don't think
I'm good.
So.
No. Well, Ryan, since you're here, you want to tell them?
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm
Just hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, notification bell, so you can stay up to date on all the videos we're putting out. We are on Twitter at CapeCast Show, and we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/CiNEMACHiNE. Appreciate all the support that we get there.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Well, on behalf of myself, Ryan, Alan, everybody. Oh, Alan, I didn't.
Alan.
And just for safe measure,
Now
Britt's not here. We got to roll it.
It's Britt, bitch.
We miss you, Britt. Come back and talk some stuff.
Luna's watching all the Marvel movies. Come talk to us about it.
Yeah. But yeah. Thanks for joining us, Ryan. Glad you got to join, even though you're a little late. God, the baby's not crying, hopefully, anymore. Or you went into a different room of your property
my wife
entirely.
Might kill me when I go back in the house. We'll see.
Good to see everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining as per usual. But
Johnny, Dave, everybody, thanks.
Tune in this Thursday. We'll be doing some CiNEMAChiNE stuff, and then hopefully we'll start getting back into a routine. I know it's been crazy, been a little unreliable when it comes to our schedule. Life kind of happens, and we try and do it when we can. So we appreciate you jumping on at any moment's notice that we are able to get on. So appreciate that. But we'll see you next time on CapeCast. So long.